Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Case Clement and Andy Serling. And if you feel a little bit like you're having some deja vu moments on today's show, you're actually not. You're just remembering that last Friday, 3 of the races from today were actually carded for last Friday, and we ended up obviously canceling.
Right. So Andy and I talked about those races last week. So
we can just play the videotape of those. But
exactly.
Instead, we'll go through all of them. Pick 6, double carryover, 101,000, I think 783. That'll start in race number 5, a race that was absolutely crushed by scratches. Really no other scratches going on during the whole card, but some bad decisions probably by connections to choose races they had no chance in or have no chance in as opposed to running here. But a tough game made harder by bad choices. Head over to Naira Bets, use the promo code CUP25. It will match up to $200 of your initial deposit, plus give you a free $25 bet in Breeders' Cup weekend towards the Breeders' Cup. Check out track stats when you're over there as well. Well, as we mentioned, we have that carryover, 101,783, kicks off in race 5. The Glen Cove, now a 4-horse field with an obvious controlling speed in there. It was probably going to be pretty tough to beat. What else do we have, Eddie? Saturday contest. You have no post time tomorrow for the $300 contest. You have no post time today for the $40 feed-in as well. And tomorrow morning we'll be showing these champion races. If you want to do it, you want to take a shot, bet 50 to win in the Quipco Champion Stakes for $20 to your Breeders' Cup. I guess Economics is probably the favorite in that race, I would assume.
Very good.
All right, what else do we have? The show, 12:30 to 5:30 today. Does that sound right?
Correct.
Yes. Tomorrow is a...
We have Belmont at the Big A and the eliminations from the Meadowlands.
Yes, you're heading over, right? Right after you leave, you and I are off the air. You're going to drive on over.
I'm going next week, actually, for the
I
finals.
heard you are.
Yes.
We discussed this the other day. In case you'll be at Far Hills tomorrow as we're covering racing all over the place. Race number 1 is a bring-back race, and Vetriano is going to be a heavy favorite in this race. And I don't have any big opinion against this horse. You and I are going to both try to beat him as we did last week.
Yep.
But he's good, and this is his race 2 back. It is a horse race, and there it is. And he runs these kind of races, he's pretty likely to win at a short price.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a huge performance. Now, I still think that while he's been dominant in those 2 races when breaking his maiden and then an allowance company, those were New York bred races. They took a shot. They went into the Allen Jerkins. A couple things that I didn't love is that his reluctance to switch leads, as you see there. And Manny Franco really asked him. I knew that he was winning by open lengths, but, you know, as the waters get deeper, you want to see that. You want to see a horse that's good in his mechanics. So I was wondering if maybe that was a sign that he could be a touch vulnerable. If he runs that 97 buyer speed figure and just runs everybody off their feet, absolutely, he is far and above the horse to beat. But I don't have a problem with trying to take a little bit of a shot against him.
I'm gonna agree with Tom Amos because it suits me, because I hate to agree with him, but that this changing leads thing is, as he said in our show, he thinks it's too much is made of it.
Well, okay, so listen, let me defend myself real quick.
Go ahead.
I agree with Tom. It's not the be-all, end-all. My thing is that a horse changing leads is when you're going to see them get, yes, a little bit more of another kick of energy. Richie Migliori often uses the suitcase analogy, changing your hands in the stretch. It's also for me with a horse that's lightly raced. You want to see them being professional. You want to see them, like I said, the mechanics of their stride. That's what I'm really talking about with Vetriano. It's not just something that you're harping on. Maybe I'm a little bit more of a stickler for it than other people are, but that's my opinion with it.
No, it's fine. I'm just, I'm more having fun, but I also think it is funny because I tend, as you know, to be a little bit suspect of a lot of that kind of stuff. Now, there are some options. You've taken Agalos the Great on top, cutting back in distance.
Yes, I know that even though he's a very big horse and they've tried stretching him out, it turns out that his sprint races were better. And I just really think the gelding's going to make a big difference for him. He's one that sometimes gets really keyed up before his races. He expends a lot of energy before the race even begins. Maybe he is not quite as good yet, but I'm hoping that this could be a chance where we'll get a chance to kind of see him get back on track.
He's going to have to get faster. I like all this sort of, the cutback. I agree. He's not a router. He's a sprinter. And Vetriano also has to deal with excellent timing, who has that speed in here that changes the complexion of the race. And I don't think excellent timing was entered in this race last week. I think he's a new player in here.
Right.
And it sort of sets it up where he has to deal with him, put him away. I'm going to bet on what you're talking about on the far outside. And we'll take a look at the race at Finger Lakes. And listen, this horse was running low 70s on dry tracks. Could easily turn into the low to mid 80s with the layoff. An 81, sloppy track or not, but a very big performance at Finger Lakes last time. So this is a horse to me with routine improvement can get into a figure, into range at least of running with Vetriano. And Wesley Ward has pretty good numbers off these long layoffs. He's determined to run this horse. He'd entered last week. You know, Wesley is sort of finicky, right? He could easily have not re-entered.
Yes.
He does re-enter. Seems to me he wants to run, and I'm going to take a shot with this one be the upsetter in this race. He had good enough form. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I just went with the recency edge, but I completely agree.
Yeah, no, he obviously hasn't run race number 2. Take a look at Jake Rocks, who got a big figure in finishing second to Commerce Comet, one of the quite a few horses for Eddie Barker that have run well at this meet.
Yeah.
My problem with him is he's just not that reliable horse, and while I consider him the horse to beat, I just didn't want to put him on top.
I agree with that. I think that that is a very fair assumption. Now, it's interesting. The last time that he won a race was April of 2023, and that was when he was with Rob Atras. Rob reclaimed this horse a couple races back, and as we talked about, even with a horse that Dave Duggan was reclaiming yesterday, it's hard to claim off of David Jacobson, especially when the Jacobson barn couldn't get this horse to win. So I was wondering if that race last time out was him kind of stepping back into, rounding back into form a little bit. His last 2 races I know were the same figure. Yes, he was second best, but I thought Manny Franco kind of did as much as he could to try to get him a ground-saving trip, but did not kind of get the best kind of trip versus the winner.
Yeah, listen, he ran good figures in those races, and the 2 from Jacobson, I wonder when it starts to, if at all, have a deleterious effect on this horse going forward. But you can't deny that he ran the figures that were fast, one here, one at Monmouth, and he's just the horse to beat. I just didn't want to take him on top. And listen, I have nothing against Super Chief, who's obviously somewhat logical. The thing I don't love about him is the way he was dropped to be claimed. Got the job done. He ran well when he won 3 back, but now he's in for 10, and it's kind of like whatever reason they dropped him is starting to rear its ugly head. And I thought Always Charming had some things to like. Second off a long layoff. He got the kind of prep I like to see in his return. He showed speed, so he got something out of the race. He was obviously in a tough spot. Commerce Comet ran so well. Jake Rocks easily beat him. But it's not like he didn't know running. He didn't trail the field 5th the whole way around the track or something. And he does have some back races, plenty of back races that make him a contender in here. So I thought he was a little interesting second off a layoff. And to me, I just kind of wanted an alternative to Jake Rocks and Super Chief, who are very logical here.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And oftentimes, too, with a horse with that kind of layoff, and it was November of 2023 to September of this year, when they show speed and end up fading, typically they're so much stronger coming back for their next race.
See what happens in race number 2, race number 3. These are maidens going a mile and a 16th. The turf course have been playing fair finally the last couple of weeks. And we'll take a look at Mr. Flowers, finishing 3rd last time out. Neither one of us are particularly fans of this horse, and I imagine it'll take a lot of money. I just didn't think he did any real running in this race. I just thought he sort of ran along in place, but maybe I'm being a little too harsh.
I thought the exact same thing. And also, I mean, he should have finished second at least in here, I thought. Was caught for 3rd late. He's also a horse that was exposed running for maiden 45, maiden 36 at Laurel, not getting the job done there. So all that to say, it kind of seems like he runs the same type of race no matter what level he's in. Is he really one that you want to lean on at a potentially shorter price?
I don't. But you're going to tell me what I missed, because you and David Aragona both like Creek.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I don't have any idea what you guys like about this.
So second off the layoff, last time out at Kentucky Downs, just totally taken out of it. He was far off the pace. The field was pretty strung out, and he didn't really kind of accelerate. It looked like he was grinding to my eye, and watching the way that he was trying to get his feet underneath of him at Kentucky Downs. It's also really hard for horses off a layoff to run over that undulating turf course at Kentucky Downs. So I was expecting he's going to be a stronger performance here. I thought that he showed a little bit more tactical speed in his 2 races prior to that. I know that they're not the fastest races, but it was 2-year-old figures, and so I was just thinking second off the bench that he'd be stronger today.
Okay. Listen, he may win, and I totally missed it because I didn't see it. But listen, I'm not in love with anybody here. We'll take a look at Chow Chucko. I put on top. You've got him second. He's fully exposed now, but this is a horse that's run well in races. He's had some crazy trips down in Florida.
Yeah.
That second race, he ran extremely well. He's had nothing but excuses. Tried to go a mile and 3/8 two back. I thought he ran well in here, and I'm just not sure this wasn't a pretty good race, and I'm kind of banking on maybe this being a better race than the one he's in today.
I think that that's a really fair assumption. I think he's very much the horse to beat. It was a nice performance from him. He broke sharply as well, just caught late, but I thought it was a big effort in that performance there. Like I said, I think he's the horse to beat.
I don't think that Badge of War is impossible. He didn't have the best trip after stumbling at the start on August 8th. I don't know what to do with Kentucky Downs. I thought he was not impossible in here. You obviously
He's
don't
also
disagree.
been going further.
I think we need to talk about the 3 first-time turfers in here in the 1, 3, and 7, 2 of them being first-time starters. I'm not in love with Duration's pedigree.
Nope.
I put him in like you did because it's Chad Brown. You never know.
I didn't, well, he comes out of what turned out to be a very live race on the dirt with the top 3 finishers coming back to win with good figures. And he was one that I was very underwhelmed by seeing first time out, which is rare, you know, for a Chad Brown firster. The second dam did run on turf and synthetic, not winning, but the dam is actually the sister to Goodnight Olive, so it's really much more of a dirt pedigree, and Matolis are better sprinting on the turf. But
it's counterintuitive.
It is, but there's a little bit. Really, the ones with the pedigrees are, well, the one, Bernabo, is the half-brother to multiple Grade 1 winner Colonel Liam.
Right, but he's a Liam's map, and this horse is a Copper Bullet. Now,
Right.
Copper Bullet isn't more than ready, to be fair.
Yes.
So the jury's still out, but it's hard to get that excited.
And
but
the
he
other
obviously is
turf winner in
Colonel
the
Liam.
family was by Kitten's Joy.
Right, second
Yeah.
dam is Wonder again. So there's, you know, anytime you see the Phillips racing, you know that there's turf going back in the pedigree. Western Run, to me, is the one with the big pedigree. This horse is a giant pedigree. I considered putting this horse on top on a total guess.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with this one. The Justifies handle anything. The dam was good on the grass. Shug McGahee debuting here. Then you've got Peretti as well, who we saw start over in Europe for
On synthetic.
O'Brien. Yes, on synthetic. Does come in here. I didn't really know what to do with that one either.
I do what I do with entries most of the time. I play against them. We'll see what happens in race number 3. Race number 4 is another race that's brought back from last time, and we stuck with our same pick. Violet Smile, go ahead.
Just the drop in class, back to the dirt. I think that she's just run races fast enough. The blinkers on in here today. She was kind of just the new face between her and Find Your Joy. These are the 2 horses that at least are dropping. I know Find Your Joy has been running up at Finger Lakes, and maybe just a logical spot to try to get both of these to take a step forward.
Last time she ran the turf, she ran her best figure ever in her subsequent start, picking up Kendrick. I thought she'd gotten less than special trips in some of her races and thought she was somewhat logical here. But, I mean, it's a hard race to get too excited. I'm not a big fan of the 2. You have her 4th. I have her Nowhere, a horse that just was kind of second by default last time out. Accelerina I've got in there. Find Your Joy you've got second. But, man, this is a field of horses that are very slow.
It is. There's not much to sink your teeth into.
And there's not much left to sink your teeth into in race number 5 as we turn the page because of curiously bad decisions made by connections. It's a $150,000 race. It starts out with a carryover $101,783. I mean, Carryu was 44 to 1 and probably an underlay at that when she ran the stake at Keeneland on Sunday. And in finishing 6th in there, she ran a race that probably would have won this race.
Yeah.
That was almost a Grade 1 quality field.
Oh,
there.
that was an incredibly tough field.
You know, whether this was the connections, whether it was it's hard to believe that Cherie would opt to run in that race than here. I'm going to say that somebody else made a decision to run there, but maybe I should text her and ask her. And the reality is that with the scratches, the 5 L&J becomes an overwhelming favorite in here, and I think she may be a bit of a phony. I'm not convinced on her, but my God, she is the absolute, total, complete lone speed.
Yeah, absolutely. I still don't know if she's quite that good as that 92 buyer speed figure suggests. But that being said, like you mentioned, I mean, she's controlling on the front end. I thought she was still a touchscreen in her races when she hit the front alone. You could even see that 2 starts back when she was opened by 2 lengths and then got caught late. Last time out, she held clear, pulling away. but she just could have a tactical advantage. I think that Time to Dazzle is a better horse, but she's one that doesn't need to be too far back. But I would imagine John Velasquez is going to be just off her hip, and hopefully the class will prevail. But tactically, J is the one to catch.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny's going to have to get our horse Time to Dazzle, who has the speed to at least be behind her. But he's going to have to, listen, the mistake that Flavio would make would be to nurse this horse along. He's supposed to take advantage of his speed.
Open up, right?
And don't do what happened with Risk Threshold last week when they just raid her into submission. It doesn't help a horse to do that. You've got to let them use their speed as an advantage. And Time to Dazzle is a horse that had a real trip last time and ran extremely well in that race. A very, very tough field, and she's the horse that we liked last time. And listen, they were all in trouble if Twirling Queen had decided to run here. And I understand staying in the Raven Run. They're probably, misled by her working well on the dirt at Keeneland. And it is a race, the Raven Run, that would create a lot more value for her as a brood mare. So I can sort of understand, as opposed to the Carrier decision, which was just a bad decision. At least there's a real upside to staying, even though I think she won't run anywhere, but it doesn't matter what I think. I think I can understand why they stayed. But she would obviously have been the horse to beat here, Twirling Queen.
Yeah.
And unlike others, I don't think that her improvement became when she went to Jose D'Angelo as much as when she went to synthetic and turf.
Yes, definitely her preferred surface.
Yeah, we'll see what she does in the Raven Run. But you and I are going to try to get Time to Dazzle over J, and that'll start out the pick 6 with that carryover. We'll be back with the last 5 after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Well, we're back, Keisha and Andy, and things get a little tougher in this pick 6 sequence. We get to race number 6. Not exactly a race, Keisha, that has a ton of form. No. You're going to try to get Solar Glare to improve dramatically, and somebody here is going to improve.
Somebody's
Why
got
not
to.
Be Solar Glare?
It's like the Phillies 2-year-old race yesterday, which Rudy Rodriguez won with a horse that was bred up and down for turf and only run on the turf. It's just it's one of those races again here today. So Solar Glare, I thought last time out, breaking in off slow, very awkward, kind of running up inside. Yes, lost third, but a tough start, debuting at 7 furlongs, so has a little bit of foundation. And the barn actually has very good numbers with 2-year-olds, and so I'm just going to take a little bit of a shot with this one.
Obviously I looked at the horse and have the horse 4th. I hate the Butter race so much. I know Butter ran a little bit better in the next start. I just wonder about that race a little bit, but I'm not knocking any horse in this race because I think just about anyone could win. And while I've picked the horse 3rd, you've got her 4th. The 2-to-1 morning line favorite, Corvus. I'm guessing a lot of that is because you're seeing a giant rider change to Flavian Pratt. And obviously this horse can win. Ran behind a very promising firster last time in Man Than Finance. But this is a tough horse to want to bet at a short price.
It is. It really is. I know that he's stretching out for the first time, but I didn't really think he did much running last time out. I know that the winner was much the best, but I didn't really think he finished much in that race.
I agree with you. I think that Hit the Post is a much more likely winner horse. You and I both have seconds horse, and I'm not going to go back and show the replay again if you really want to watch. You should watch the first race. This horse was best first time out, ran extremely well, and then was on that big, giant inside speed track and got badly outrun by Bold Fortune, who outbroke the field, and Manny so astutely just sent the horse strongly in there and ended up in a complete chase, shuffled out in the turn.
Actually came back a little bit.
Yeah, I think I don't think the horse, even though the rail was good, I don't think the horse was comfortable running inside of horses.
No,
and looked like it was going to be like last, and then sort of came back around. And I mean, it's a little deceptive when you get beaten 15 lengths. You didn't really re-rally. You just were outslowed by some of the others.
It's just finishing a little bit better than some of the ones
But his
tiring.
first race was very good.
Yes.
And to me, he's the horse to beat. And I think you
agree.
agree. We both sort of went to fuzzies. I took a shot with Beach Invasion. I just want Beach Invasion to go.
Yeah,
I know
that's-
Chasing Colton has some speed in here, but I look at this horse. The same situation. At least this horse also chased out wide last time. Was against the track.
Yes.
Ran fast enough on the turf, but last time I think ran a much better race than it looks in the dirt. So I'm going to try Beach Invasion a little bit against it last time in this race.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I think that's about it.
All right. Race number 7. I know the 7th was kind of a fun race.
It is. I had a tough time with this race.
Yeah,
I thought there were several ways you could go.
Well, you start with your horse. Your horse is just a question of trust. If you trust Artemis Sound, she's the horse to beat. I never trust these horses, but I won't be surprised when she wins.
She's taking a drop in class. I had written in my notes last time out that I would like to see her stretch back out. I thought that she physically was
funny spot.
Yeah, it was.
I think Todd
and
was
obviously,
I think he was taking a shot before he dropped her. I think he
Right.
was saying, she
Let's
didn't
exhaust
run
all
that
our
badly
options.
sprinting as a 2-year-old.
Yes.
Let's give her a chance to see if she can sprint. Otherwise, I'm going to drop her.
yeah. And obviously, risk threshold went right to the front. That was when you really, where you really wanted
had
to
no
be on the
chance in
turf.
there.
There was just no chance. She was
Wide, yeah.
totally run off her feet in there. So I wanted to give her another chance. And dropping in class in here, thought that it was just the right spot for her.
I agree. I mean, I could see Diamond Status trying to wire him. I don't
Yes.
really like him. You and I saw the race very similarly.
That's why that's the main reason I included Diamond Status in there. This week.
I would say with Boxed Wine, that was a race last time that there really was not much movement from behind. Kind of got blind switched and held up a little bit in the stretch. Did not do much running. But you go back 3, 4 races, 5 races, 6 races. This horse is running races that can win here.
Oh, yeah.
Did not run at all in the Susie O'Kane. Did not really run well last time, but I can use the merry-go-round race as a bit of an excuse. I want to give her another chance. And I think Starts Now is a horse that gets Flavien Prat, and not that doing anything wrong, but she was a bit wide in that race, and she too was compromised by the dynamics last time and did not have the best of trips.
She was, and she also broke her maiden on the turf for 40,000. That's the only time she's run on the grass in a claiming race, and so just dropping back down, maybe this is just the level that she belongs.
I thought she ran well 2 races back. And the thing is, I go through this race occasion. I don't know about you. I just don't really like anybody in here. I couldn't make cases for so many horses in this race.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Miss City Girl's a little bit interesting, but I don't really love her turf races.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you wonder, is she going to have taken a step forward from those races earlier this year on the grass? Did break her maiden on the dirt at Finger Lakes. Obviously, she's the full sister to City Man, so there's pedigree for both surfaces in there. So she's clearly not, to the level of her brother, but I guess with the drop and onto the grass, yeah.
I like you. I don't want the horses out of the Bertriel race.
No.
So I'm
No.
not left with that many
I
options.
feel like if Downtown Channel was supposed to win, that was the day it was supposed to happen.
I agree.
Yeah.
That was the day for Downtown Channel. We'll see what happens in race number 7. Moving on to race number 8. I'm copping out in race number 8 with the favorite Floki's Flight in here for Linda. I mean, we'll show the last race. I don't know what I'm not supposed to like about this horse. This horse has
I
been
agree.
running consistently well for Dale Romans. Obviously a wet track and an easy trip last time, but why is he not just the horse to beat in here?
He's run very fast races on a dry track prior, both when going on a mile at Churchill early on in his career with Dale. I thought even 2 starts back ran quite well behind Nelson Avenue. Last time out using speed. Yes, it was a wet track, but I just thought, yeah, certainly a horse that makes a ton of sense and fits in here.
Yeah, there's obviously the favorite and the horse to beat in here. I do want to say, I don't know when people printed their PPs, but if you printed these PPs on Saturday like I did or earlier, you have the wrong figure for the Seeking Unity race. It's just a fat finger mistake, as we like to say, one of those, slip, because as soon as I saw, the 50 for From Another Mother and the, 56 or 58 that Seeking Unity ran,
Right.
I texted Andy Beyer and said, you've obviously just transcribed the wrong number. And I think it was an 87, the race got.
87,
And it was corrected
Which
in the
makes
charts.
sense.
I spoke to him on Sunday about it. And he looked at it, he said, I don't know what happened, but obviously that figure is wrong. And I think that makes From Another Mother a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. I like this horse. I thought he was totally taken out of a comfort zone last time out, way too far back. Yes, it was a salty field as well. I know that he ran in the same race behind Seeking Unity and was the one of the pace that kind of faded, where Seeking Unity was incredibly game. I don't know where that kind of strong effort came from there. And my big question is, can Seeking Unity repeat that effort, where I actually do have a little bit more trust in From Another Mother. I think we kind of know what he is when he's able to get his trip.
I agree. He didn't have a fair trip last time out, and now in a mile and an eighth, and I think he does make sense. I worry a little bit that he's not going to hold his form for his new connections from Ray.
That's certainly
That's
fair.
my concern. I've got
Is
him
he over
second,
the hill?
obviously.
Yeah,
I see him in there
absolutely.
as well. But there's a lot of horses I don't really like. Like, I feel like St. Andrews and Celestial Gaze. I just think this, I know Skylander came back with a
wanted
big
to
win
step
yesterday.
away with that race.
I just thought this was a tougher field. But,
too.
you know, Skylander did run well yesterday and got an 81 buyer in winning in yesterday's race. But there just weren't that many horses I want. Irish Exit, I don't know. I mean, he was a little bit against it last time out, but I just thought the other horses in this race were a little bit cheap, and we're taking a look right now at the St. Andrews race, right? I just think these are better horses.
I agree, and I thought St. Andrews got a very good trip last time out. I thought Celestial Gaze was just second best. Certainly ran fine that day. I decided to kind of step away from that race and the two of them, and preferring just kind of some new faces dropping in here. But yeah, absolutely, they could run well again.
On to the Carl Place, race number 9, and we'll take a look at the Mahoney, which I just assume will be a Grade 1 next year,
Has to be,
considering
no?
it's fed into a race that was idiotically made a Grade 1 at Kentucky Downs, and the fourth, fifth, and seventh finishers came back to run 1, 2, 3 in that
And even
felonious
Apollo
Grade
10
1.
ran a huge second at Keeneland last
Yeah, what I would say though is that this race was dominated on the front end, and I think
yes.
one of the reasons those horses ran better is that they were somewhat compromised by the dynamics of the race, and also the horse on the inside who won the race, finishing fourth, didn't have the best of trips in there. And in this race, with the presence of Barksdale, who didn't break last time, but even others like Twisted Filigree, I just don't see the pace setting up as well for Run Carson.
I totally agree. I thought Run Carson was very game in that effort that day, finishing second and at a huge price as well. I certainly think that he's a horse that is a nice turf sprinter as well. But
Not impossible. He can rate. He's shown he
Absolutely.
can rate before.
He did.
I just think he stepped up when he was
runs
able to
better,
control it.
I think, exactly.
You know, my problem with Works for me, and I did pick him on top, and I consider the 9 because I have a bit of an affinity for him, but I think Works with me, if he runs his good race, is the best horse in this race.
He is.
What happened to his speed? How did he
I
end
know.
up? I'm not saying he was supposed to be in front last time.
He was very far back.
What happened to him? He broke
Yeah.
just fine.
I don't
and
know.
I don't know if Flavian wanted to be that much back, if the connections told him to take the horse back.
I don't know,
but that
because
was
I know he was on the
ridiculous.
dirt 2 starts back, but he had him.
He has plenty of
right
speed. He has
there,
speed in
yeah.
turf races. I don't.
I know.
In training speed out of turf sprinters, I've seen it all. As far as Smokey, we'll take a look at him winning the Paradise Creek. I'll let you talk about him.
Yeah, I thought that he could get a good trip in here. I think he's a nice horse as well. I thought even in the quick call, nobody was beating Star of Mystery. Faced some really nice horses in there. He ran in the infamous Grade 1 race at Kentucky Downs last time out, but I thought Paradise Creek was a very good effort that day, and I just think that he was a horse that has tactical speed, doesn't need to be too far back, but also can close from off of it if needed, and is in pretty good form right now.
He was horrifically bad at Kentucky Downs.
I just don't think that he handled it. He was off slow. Yeah.
No, I get it. He broke a length slow. I get it. He was bad. Now, it's Kentucky Downs, and I'm not going to write a horse's career off based on one bad race there. I just wish he had run a little bit better, but obviously I totally agree with you, and I think he is the one. Because the other thing is, as we look at Little Nye is a very, very good horse. I mean, he almost beats Bookham Dano, who's one of the best 3-year-olds in the country, one of the best sprinters in the country, period, of any age. Having said that, this is not a turf pedigree. I have to one turf winner from 4 to try it. Mohayman's 5% in turf sprints. It just,
Nothing in the second generation.
One Sharp Cookie. It's the second dam's a little bit of turf, but I guess it's sharp as heck as a Freud's. There's a little turf there, but it's hard to be overwhelmed. Barksdale, to be fair on Barksdale, he did try the turf in a mile race that he couldn't win, but I mean, he couldn't get out of the gate. And the other thing is,
kind of look like a turf horse, to be fair.
he may need Lasix, though, for a trainer, as horses seem to often need Lasix. And then, you know, the Lone Fuzzy is the worst that you have fourth in here, and Live High, Live Low. I'm really supposed to take this horse seriously in here?
No, I know. I just gave him a little bit of a.
I
of
looked
a
long and
plug
hard
on
at him.
the cutback and distance, but I think that there's a real class question with him.
I agree. I just don't think he's that good, and he's kind of a let's take a shot.
I
don't
thought he
love
would just kind of
anybody.
be cutting back in distance in the right spot.
And there's too many horses capable of running an 88 to a 90 buyer in here, and I don't see the likelihood of him doing, but he's at price, and he is a little bit of a fuzzy in here. It's a funny race here, the Carl Place.
It's a fun one.
Yep, race number 10, we'll take a look at Slap in the Face, finishing second last time out, and not the kind of horse that I really wanted to pick, but at the end of the day, I just think he's better than these horses.
Yes, he very well might be. Was beat by Clear Conscience last time out, wired by Laurel Valley, two starts back. He's a horse that I think it's similar to the Bill Mott horse that won yesterday, Dancing Dean, and I had mentioned this, that she just takes a long time to get her stride going.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he is one of those horses, I think, as well. Slap in the Face. Just takes a really long time to get going. He doesn't have that acceleration, that turn of foot that we talk about as much. Look, he absolutely can win. I just wanted to give another chance to blame it on Daddy, who I talked about it at a price last time.
Me too.
I don't know
I bet him
why.
last time.
He is always a horse that I've had an affinity for. I thought it was the best that he's looked last time out. He was always a horse that was a bit difficult prior to his races, and second off the bench, I just had to give him another chance.
He was wide last time. I know the track was fairer, but he was wide,
He
3 to
was.
4 wide the whole way. I've got him second. I see the same things. BD Saints improved a little bit. Pretty good trip last time, but he improved last time. Miracle Mike has some good back races. The horse, I guess, that's a little bit interesting here is the 12, Courtly Banker. What happened last time?
I don't
He just got
know.
completely lost in that race.
I don't know. He's a horse that usually, he goes out first in the post parade. They kind of handle him with kid gloves. He was the favorite that day, off winning the Rick Violet on a soft turf course, which I think was a little bit tough to kind of gauge.
Pouring rain.
Exactly.
But he ran well the race before.
But he did
it,
run well. He
but
absolutely
he's
had good
outposted
form. He
tons of
was.
speed in this race, and
He
horses
was.
like
And
Kid
he runs
Crease and
better, I
A-Lister.
think, when he's able to kind of drop in and be tactical.
I agree. We'll see if Johnny can get him in a good spot from a difficult post position. Keisha, thanks so much. Good news is we should be able to run today's card. It is an absolutely beautiful day. Expecting a beautiful weekend as well. 10 today, 12 tomorrow, 10 on Sunday. Lots of turf racing, pick 6 carryover. Head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code CUP25 and we'll match the $200 initial deposit and give you a $25 bonus for Breeders' Cup weekend. Our good friend Dennis checking in as he often does. I miss
Thanks.
Dennis, good guy.
Yeah.
What do we have?
excited?
Track stats. Check out track stats as well. Also, Pick the Pick 6 carryover is next in the slate. 101-783 starts in race 5 of our 10 race card. We've got a contest. You have until post time tomorrow to sign up for the $300 contest. Post time today, too, I believe, for the $40 feed in. Get all the information at nairabets.com/contests. I bet I can't do that twice. Breeders' Cup, Bankroll Builder, and the Champion Stakes. All that'll be shown in FS2, I believe. Is FS2 or FS1 tomorrow morning?
That I don't know.
I think we're showing
I think
like all
Greg
day
Wolf
of the races.
Will be in
Yeah.
there for a bit tomorrow morning.
I don't know if
and
are we
then-
showing them from 8 o'clock on? But Greg's
But Greg's
not
at-
there for the last hour.
there
I
for
think
the
he's there,
hour,
and
yeah.
then his torture day continues with me. No, actually, he's not on with me. He got a break. Coverage at 12:30 on FS2, 12:30 to 5:30 today.
That's right.
All
And then Lafitte will be here this
Lafitte's
weekend
coming.
because I will be at Far Hills tomorrow with Joe Clancy and the MiG.
That's right.
Yeah.
Have fun. Glad you guys got nice
Be
weather for
beautiful
that.
tomorrow,
And
yeah.
you and I will be starting the show off again today as well. Have a great day. Chris Griffin is coming up with the reprise of Scratches and Changes. Have a good one.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.